Here is Chuck Todd with Representative Andy Barr of Kentucky. And we've heard constantly about how inflation is such a massive threat from the Republican Party. It's a way for them to attack Democrats and Biden, even though July saw reduced inflation. And most economists seem to think that inflation has hit its peak and will continue to go down from here. But the reality is that Republicans don't have any plan for inflation because they want complete lack of regulation and accountability in the market. So they don't really know what to do about it. Chuck Todd basically asked this question of Andy Barr, and he has no answer.
Ask you this. What is your plan to deal with inflation? What is the Republican plan to deal with inflation other than not supporting Joe Biden policies? And I say that because what is the proactive agenda here?
Well, we have a positive agenda. We have a commitment to America, and we're going to get back to basics. Republicans are going to win landslide elections, not just because Joe Biden has done such a poor job and congressional Democrats have failed the American people on the economy, crime, and the border, but because we have a positive agenda to secure the border, to get back to basics, to stop the flow of drugs into our communities, to prevent people on the terror watch list from coming across the southern border, and to restore the Remain in Mexico policy that this administration just reversed, to finish border wall infrastructure and technology and resource border patrol.
So I have to just stop there. Like, this is absolute. First of all, like, the question was about inflation. And to the extent that this addresses inflation at all, it would make the problem worse. This is the thing that always drives me crazy about the quote unquote right wing and even certain like lefty types saying about why we need to harden the border because to help the American worker. Well, we've been doing that. We have a very hard border right now. And also, guess what? We have a labor shortage. Now, that's not entirely caused by a hardened border. It's in part caused by a lot of people died. A lot of people are deciding that it's not worth it to go risk their lives to work. But nonetheless, we have the state of affairs that they should be celebrating, which is that we've stopped immigrants coming in and we have a labor shortage that's driving the cost of labor up. They are not celebrating that. They are freaking the F out about it because this is actually not something they ever wanted. Like the right doesn't actually want to harden the border so much that it causes labor. I don't know why I need to say that specifically, but they always say that they don't. But this is again like what is happening at this current moment, in part. And they see the cost of labor going up. Their constituency and to a large extent, almost entire extent, the Democrats, like elite constituency, are terrified by that.
They want to militarize the border for reasons that have to do with politics, that have to do with the contracts that are involved, that have to do with just a general militarization of the United States as like a part of their ideology, but also because they want to make it as difficult as possible to create upward mobility for migrants coming into this country. They want to create a permanent servant class that also keeps the cost of labor down, as you say. And so they do want a maximum insecurity for those kinds of workers, while at the same time using them as to demonize migrants and immigrants for their own political benefit. But like they are terrified about the cost of labor going up, as you say. And so, like, they really have no answer for this. This is just complete word salad in every way. But I'm surprised Chuck Todd didn't interject here. Let's hear what else he has to say.
It's back to basics.
You know, the Democrats just passed a bill that would increase the workforce at the IRS by 87,000 people to come after law-abiding American small business owners and harass them. We don't need more IRS agents.
Okay, can you pause it again?
Yeah, if they're law-abiding, sorry, but if they're law-abiding, they shouldn't have a problem.
And also, the directive about this increased IRS enforcement is for people making over $400,000 a year.
Yeah, also that helps inflation. Like there's a couple ways to get the excess money out of the system. One is to expect all working people to undergo austerity. The other is to take some of that money out of the system from the people who actually are sitting on top of it. And it should be all across the board, windfall taxes for any industry that's experienced a windfall. You should not be profiting off of coronavirus. That's the way it should be looked at, which is what all these companies are doing. And that's how you deal with inflation. And guess what? That's going to take tax enforcement. You cannot simultaneously
And it was,
be somebody.
by the way, just quickly, the only way to raise a certain amount of revenue, because Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema were basically nixing any tax increases, many tax increases in the legislative text at all. So this is just like allowing the IRS to do what it's already supposed to by law be doing.
And the state, one of the things that it should do, and we should applaud it doing, is tax enforcement. You cannot simultaneously be somebody who thinks that we should raise taxes on rich people, but also stop the enforcement mechanism, stop funding the enforcement mechanism of the IRS, which you hear from somebody like Jimmy Dore trying to make the jump on this argument. Kyle Rittenhouse fan Jimmy Dore. Saying that the
is that
IRS
his thing now? I missed this.
Oh, he was a Kyle Rittenhouse defender during the trial.
No,
yeah.
I mean like he's now in the fray defending or
he's saying the IRS
is for the IRS thing. Oh,
yeah.
Give me a break, dude.
It's so funny. He had this tweet that was like, the Democrats aren't doing this because they're going after big tax guys. You're going after because they're coming over you, right? And that's why the Republicans are fighting it. And so the Democrats aren't different than Republicans. They're the Republicans. It's like, well, no, the Republicans are fighting this. The Democrats are proposing it. That's a difference. That's a difference. If you think, you can't say they're the same as Republicans. You have to say they're different than Republicans, and I think Republicans are better, which is the thing that Jimmy is still afraid to actually say, even though, like, if you think this is a genuine difference between the two parties, this IRS thing. You can't say it's the same thing. It's exactly not.
All right, let's keep going.
Oh yeah, we want more of Barr. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We need more Border Patrol agents, and we have a common sense plan to reduce the cost of living, to lower the cost of the pump. We want to restore American energy independence. We're going to end these policies that prevent us from being energy independent. We're going to stop the politicization of the financing of energy, and we are.
So that's the final thing, and that's really the only real things that he mentions as far as if we somehow had more oil pumping, inflation would be a little bit better, which is I think partially true. But when he says like the politicization of the finance of oil, what he's saying is that it's not that Joe Biden is saying don't go drill more wells or go more produce oil. The banks that run our economy, because it's not the government, it's the banks, decide that that's not profitable for them. What is profitable is using this moment of increased demand and lower supply to profiteer. So that's what they're doing. That's the politicization we're seeing. It's not politicization, it's profitization. It's profiteers that are getting in the way of oil. So, and it's ironic because like that you would think that banks are really bad, so they'll be doing anything they can to get oil out of the ground, but everyone sees the writing on the wall with regards to climate change. So a long-term investment in that is not something capitalism is going to do.